Hey, so you're probably wondering what is going on in this video. Well, allow me to explain. We are gonna go into. So, I'm like Masters of the Universe, which, if for those who don't know, it's a toy line by Mattel. It started in the 80s, and it has a lot of cartoons, especially with She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. A good remake that puts in diversity, this vice cast, and a complex relationship between She-Ra and her best friend turned enemy Catra compared to the original. I know, I do like the 80s She-Ra, of course, but I just gotta give this there for the remake. Like, She-Ra has a brother named He-Man, and the altered identities are the Prince of Eternia, Adam and Dora. Now, at birth, the two were separated. Adora was taken by the Horde as a baby, not knowing she had a brother, and she came from another world. In the 1985 Secret of the Sword, Adora made her debut and became She-Ra for the first time, and met her brother, Adam He-Man. Though at first Adora was working for the bad guys, the whole evil Horde, but didn't know they were evil until He-Man was able to convince her to see what was the Horde really doing. Now, I am not gonna go into too much detail as I already explained it before in a lot of other videos, which I should recommend you check out. On my views on He-Man and She-Ra especially. And everyone should already know about Genshin Impact so there's no really need to explain it. Now still, why do I want to compare Genshin Impact with this American Classics series? Well, this was just a fun thing, I thought. My two favorite things, and just comparing the things together with the two. Let there be similar names or character styles and such. Who does not like to do a little conspiracy video or just to have a little fun and just don't go too crazy? So let's get into it. Now, the Whispering Woods would be a common name for anyone looking into a fantasy. It's just got that nice fantasy feel to it. It does well in both series. They both got their own Whispering Woods. In Genshin Impact, it's a sub-area in Starfall Valley, Mondstadt near Starfall Lake, and the city of Mondstadt. In the prologue chapter, this is the same place the traveler meets Venti and Dvalin for the first time. Here, you can find small lamp glass, and in the story class, the mystery of the girl in Red's treasures. This red girl, being Klee, buries her treasure there, but it's stolen by the Abyss Mage, and we can tell what happens after that if you have played or saw a video of the story quest. Oh my god, I love that part. But anyway, in Masters of the Universe, their Whispering Woods is a woodland area operated as a campground of the Great Rebellion, a rebel camp. The Whispering Woods are on the planet Etheria, where it is ruled by the Horde. The woods are enchanted, and so the Horde cannot get into the woods. The woods are also the home of Madame Waz and the Twickets, small species of plant-like humanoids who inhabit the Whispering Woods in She-Ra, Princess of Power, and The Secret of the Sword, which is a film of She-Ra first appeared in. Comparing the locations of Bright Moon and in Genshin Impact Mondstadt is the city and nation, their Archon Barbados, and the element of Anemo, which is basically, but the name Mondstadt is German for Moon City. In Masters of the Universe series, Bright Moon, mainly it's a castle, and its moon, like themes, has similar effects to Mondstadt, but so far, that's where the similarities end. Now we know that the Outlander, the main character who we play as in Genshin Impact, has a sibling. And that, depending on the sibling we choose to be our character to control, they get separated by the unknown god, or what she is called herself, Sustainer of Heavenly Principles. When the traveler meets their sibling again, they are with the Abyss Order, being referred to as a princess or a prince depending on the player's choice at the beginning of the game. So I'm just gonna say they are basically evil, but have some kind of purpose to what they are doing. Again, this is only theories we can go over. The traveler's sibling says to the traveler to finish their journey through to that, like them, hoping that the traveler will see the true nature of the world that is ruled by the Seven and Celestia at the end of their journey. Whatever it means, we don't know yet. And so, with Masters of the Universe, we have Adam and Adora, who have the magic swords of power and protection to become He-Man and She-Ra. And they are also Prince and Princess from the planet Eternia. God, I really get names mixed up. As I have said at the beginning, Adora and Adam were separated as babies, as Adora was kidnapped by the Horde and taken to Etheria, where she is brainwashed and becomes a force captain of the Horde, until she meets He-Man and gets the Sword of Protection to become She-Ra. And she is He-Man's twin sister, and Princess of Eternia. The Traveler and their sibling are kind of like Adam and Adora in this way. Being siblings and separated from each other, one was evil, but as for Adora, she became on to the good side. As for the Traveler's siblings, still remains as a mystery, but clearly from what we do know, the Traveler's siblings has some weird messed up crap going on from what they appear to mean. Only time can tell what they mean when time comes. The reason I want to compare Glimmer with Sangonomiya and Kokomi is because of how the two are presented as leaders of rebel groups. Though Glimmer was a former leader in the 1985 She-Ra, to remind you, I am going to be using the 80s Masters of the Universe characters as I know them very well. As for She-Ra, Princesses of Power, at the time making of this, I only know up to Season 1. And from what I binge watched from the other seasons, don't judge. But here, Sangonomiya Kokomi is a divine priestess of Watatsumi Island. It's short of like a princess, I believe, and from Sangonomi's shrine is that of an ocean and sea. Glimmer is the princess of Bright Moon, which has a moon-based theme as to it. Kokomi being a skilled strategist that can think of all the potential scenarios and how to handle them, and this a result from reading plenty of military books as she has read. I say Glimmer also has this as she does lead the rebellion, and though she is not the leader anymore, she still shows a great leading role, even if she can be stubborn at times or very caring. And let's not forget the bow fuse magic, and don't really need a weapon to fight all the time. This may only apply to Glimmer if you have seen her hold a sword in the 80s She-Ra or Princesses of Power. Okay, I can't really find anything to compare these two together, but let's look back on what I said about Kokomi and Glimmer. These two are the second hand in the rebellion and resistance affairs. They are also there to help out Kokomi and Glimmer, and both characters use bows as their weapons, and will also always be there to protect their allies as the best they could. The resistance of Genshin Impact, the Sangonomiya resistance, And the Great Rebellion got some obvious comparisons to each other. The resistance of Sangonomiya that is led by Kokomi, who opposed the Vision Hunt Decree, with composed of those who fear losing or having lost their visions to the decree. The Great Rebellion wants to free Etheria from the Horde. They both have a similar goal, which is for freedom. The Resistance wants to get rid of the Vision Hunt Decree, and it disposes that the freedom for having their visions in Izuzuma by being taken away by them by the Tenryou Commission. Not to mention that Izuzuma in the story quest shows how the residents of Izuzuma can't even leave, as if they do, the Tenryou Commission hunts them down under the Senkoku Decree. This was seen in Sakajiru during Yomina's story quest, Dreamlike Timelessness. Now let's get back to the Great Rebellion. The Great Rebellion is a function actively residing in the occupation of Etheria by the Horde. As if you have seen in the 80s Shira, The Secret of the Sword of Princesses of Power, the Horde are very evil, especially doesn't matter which version you have seen them in. Etheria, under the run of the Horde, show their tyrant rule over the planet, taking the freedom of its inhabitants by making them slaves, taking stuff from them, and making them pay high taxes. The Great Rebellion wants to stop the Horde and bring back the freedom that the Horde took away from the people of Etheria. And with Shira, along with Adora, they are able to protect that and make that possible. So it may be obvious where this is going just by looking at the name. They both have wind in the name. Wind gliders are used by the players to glide around open areas in Genshin Impact. It can also be customized and doesn't have any impact on gameplay. Get the joke? The Wind Rider in Masters of the Universe is a vehicle used by the Royal Guard to fly around certain areas, so both can be used for flying. I don't believe they need a license to fly, unlike some people. Maybe. Now, this part really has nothing to do with Genshin Impact and Masters of the Universe, but I decided to add it in since we are comparing stuff here. So I write a lot of fanfiction and stories, which can be found on my Wattpad. I have a link into it in my about in my YouTube channel if you want to see my Wattpad account, but I love to write a lot of crossover fanfictions. The way how I like to do this is by comparing the two shows, movies, anime, games, etc. that I want to make a crossover with. For instance, my fanfiction series Persona Record, which is a crossover fanfiction of the Persona series and Prala Magia, originally just a crossover of Persona 5 and Magia Record. I look for some similarity, like Personas and Doppels. They are kind of similar to each other, though I did make a theory video that looking at it is kind of dumb, but did have some fact in it, in which I compared Personas and Doppels with each other. You can see that video if you want. And so we are gonna make it to the ending. Finally, you don't know how tiring it was making the script or possibly even editing it. But hey, I love making it and it was worth it. If you have made it to the ending confused, allow me to explain clearly why I compared Genshin Impact with Masters of the Universe out of all things. I just made this for fun, and I find it fun to compare some things that have in common, and it was good. Maybe from what I say about making crossover fanfiction, this may give you some ideas to make a fanfiction of your own, maybe with those two here. But anyhow, I hope you enjoy. Goodbye, and thank you for looking into this video.